Hey, what's going on YouTube? Gary here, gzduel is here to bring you guys a match between my Madolche deck and my opponent who's playing some Gem Knights. And I'm playing Madolches recently because YCS Toronto is coming up in like a month or so. And I really want to practice for that event. And of course, I'm going to take my Madolche deck because it's the deck that I mainly play and I have it in real life and everything. So I'm going to try to practice with this on top of doing like, other deck profiles and other archetypes and exploring those things with you because I'm hoping to learn from that as well. I'm going to like learn the weaknesses of different rogue decks so that, I can play Madolches even better. So my opponent is playing some sort of Gem Knights, and he had a pretty good setup first turn. He searched for the Rescue Rabbit to the top of his deck, and I only can do something like Magdalene searching for a Hoot Cake. So my opponent at this point, he sees that I have no back row. He doesn't know that I play, Swift Scarecrow. So what he's going to do is he's going to go all out. He's going to probably just fusion, Gem Knight fusion into a whole bunch of monsters and tries to OTK me for this turn. But little does he know, I do have a Swift Scarecrow, so that when he attacks into me, I'll drop the Swift Scarecrow into the graveyard, and then when my turn comes around, I can use Dark Hole, get rid of everything he has on the field, and since the Swift Scarecrow is in my graveyard, I'll have a monster to banish as the cost for my Hoot Cakes effect, and I will be able to go off from there because I do have a TG Werewolf. I can go into the classic Invoker plus Queen Tiramisu, all of those shenanigans. So my opponent actually plays Gaia Powered. I was kind of surprised, but it's good for me. It's like a canceling out. He gets 500 boosts for his monsters that have Earth attribute. All of my Madolche monsters are Earth attributes, so I'm totally fine with that. And at this point, he kind of misplaced. He wanted to search Dark Hole and place on top of his deck, and I was like, I think you can only search monsters only. So he's going to change his mind, and he's going to get Gem Armadillo onto the top of his deck, which is good. So now that I can anticipate what he draws. Sometimes I feel like Lavabo Chain may be a bad card because I get to know what my opponent has drawn next turn so that I can prepare for it, I can plan for it accordingly. So my opponent attacks with Citrine, and I forgot that Citrine's effect is when this card attacks, you can't activate any spell, traps, monster effects in response. So I'm going to take the 2,200 damage and the 500 for the field. I thought Citrine was like a fire type monster, and then when he attacks with Lavabo Chain, I'm going to drop the Swift Scarecrow, ending his battle phase. Now it's my turn. I'm going to use the Dark Hold, clear his field. At this point, he must be like really sad, and I'm going to do what I said I would do, so I'm going to summon the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake's effect, banish the Swift Scarecrow, special summon out Messengelato. Messengelado's effect will help me get the ticket, but I'm going to chain the TG Werewolf effect as well when a level 4 lower monster special summon. So I'm going to search for the ticket, and after that I'm going to overlay I'm going to play the ticket and overlay the wolf and the Hoot Cake in order to get the MX Saber Invoker. Alright, at this point, I kind of misplayed a bit, but not really if you think about it. Like, you can go two ways. Of course, I'm going to try to bring out the Messengelato, and I thought about, going into Tiramisu, but then I thought if I go into Tiramisu and I return the field card, what ends up happening is he doesn't draw the Gem Armadillo, which I actually really want him to draw because Gem Armadillo is kind of useless for him right now. Like I hope he doesn't top like a Dark Hole or whatever, right? So I decided I'm gonna go for an Excalibur, but going for Excalibur would do less damage. So if I return something like if I use Queen Tiramisu's effect, I would have activated Ticket, and Ticket would have searched for something in return. But I didn't feel like that was really necessary since I drew into Ultimate Offering and I have Magdalene, so even if he has Dark Hole in his hand, even if he can do some sort of damage with like the Gem Knight fusion that he's doing right now, even if he summons out Gem Knight Zirconia and tries to attack me for damage, that's alright, because next turn what I'll be able to do is, of course, I will be able to use Magdalene's effect, pay a bunch of life points, Magdalene, and Hoot Cake now that I draw into it, and I can just OTK him from there. It's basically a win-win. So I don't really regret going into Excalibur, mainly because I do have a backup plan and I can afford to overextend a little bit to try to push for more damage. So yeah, right here I'm just going to search for Magdalene using Magdalene's effect, pay 500 life points, but my opponent already knows what's going on, so he's going to surrender. Over here, I don't know what's his side deck. I thought about it. I was like, huh, he's playing Gem Knights, right? So he's gonna search a lot, and he's gonna try to add a lot of monsters. So I'm going to put in these Thunder Kings in here so that he can't use the things that he uses to search. And I'm also going to play some Snowman Eaters because his Gem Knights are like 1900 attack. So if he attacks into my Snowman Eater, that'd be awesome for me because I would be able to destroy his Gem Knight. Plus, I would be able to use it as a level 3 monster to go for rank 3 Exceed. Now my opponent goes first again, and he opens up with Rabbit, so he always opens up with the broken card, but it really doesn't matter because considering his playstyle, I have him covered. I have two Swift Scarecrows in my hand, which is perfect, and my opponent is going to go for the Madolche, and this time he didn't do what he did last time. He just sent the Gem Knight Fusion into his graveyard, and he will be able to use Gem Knight Fusion's effect to get it into his hand. So it's a pretty good plus. Now it's my turn. I already have all of the pieces. Like, I can special summon out Striker, and I can normal summon out Madolche to search for the Madolche Mew. And what happens is, I'm hoping my opponent's going to go blow up, and he sees that I have no back row. He's going to try to fusion into a whole bunch of stuff, destroy everything. During the end phase, I will be able to search using my Striker's effect. I'll be able to search out the TG Werewolf, and once I have TG Werewolf, I have the Mew, I have the Hoot Cake, and I have the Striker and the Swift Scarecrow in my graveyard. I will be able to go for that 3-wave combo that I keep telling you guys about, and that would probably be game, provided that he doesn't have any really great back row. So as I predicted, my opponent is just blowing up. He's just like, alright, I'm just going to risk everything. I'm going to just go off. And I was really angry too. I was like, why don't I have my Maxis? I have two of them. I have two of them mained. Why don't I have any of my Veilers? I have two of those mained. Well, I have Swift Scarecrows, but I mean, like, I would like to draw some more cards since I do play those hand traps. But at the same time, this is alright, this is fine. He can just do whatever he wants. It's not like he can OTK me because I have two Swift Scarecrows. He's going to use Diamond Master's effect. I think he's going to copy Topaz's effect. So Topaz can attack twice, and when it destroys a monster by battle, it can do extra damage. So the extra damage equaling to the opponent monster's attack points. So now he summons out all of these fusion monsters. I hope that I had Dark Hole. That would have been so sick. But I don't have Dark Hole this time, but I have something kind of equivalent to it. I do have that little OTK thingy. So he's going to use Lavavel Chain's effect to try to get Rabbit on top. So that's going to be fine for me because I'm going to go for the Tiramisus. And when I use Tiramisu and returning all of his monsters, then he won't be able to draw into the Rabbit because it's going to be shuffled. So after calculating some damage, he was like, no, you should take less damage. But if you think about it, his Diamond gains the effect of Topaz, so Topaz will inflict 1,400 damage to Madolche Madolche. That's no problem. And I have to return Madolche into the deck. Now, Diamond Master has this inherent effect of gaining 100 attack points for each Gem Knight monster in his graveyard. So he's going to have more. More attack points. So what I did was right. Okay, so he's going to go for an attack, and I'm going to shuffle my deck, and I'm going to play the Swift Scarecrow, so I will stop myself from being OTK'd. Now, I have, during his end phase, I forgot to search, which I feel really bad about because I was too hasty. It's a bit of a misplay. In professional playing, probably my opponent wouldn't let that go, but, I asked if we could, and so I got to do what I had to do. So now I summon Madolche Mew, I have Hoot Cake, and I'm going to special summon the TG Werewolf. You guys already know what's going to happen. If he doesn't have a response, then I'm going to use Hoot Cake's effect, banish the Swift Scarecrow I discarded, special summon out the Madolche Messengelato, and it's very important that you use Madolche Messengelato's effect right now when it's first special summoned to search for the Chateau, because you don't want to return any Madolche monsters from the graveyard. So you're going to play Chateau, and once you do that, you're going to overlay the Mew with the Werewolf, and you're going to use the Invoker to detach the Mew so that you have a Madolche monster in your graveyard. It's very important. So you use Invoker's effect to search out the second Messengelato. Messengelato's effect, since you have Hoot Cake, which is a beast Madolche monster, you can search out for the ticket, and since you have ticket, you can play the ticket, and then you can overlay the two Messengelatos, and you can go into the Queen Tiramisu. I'm sorry, it's such a long combo, but it's so hard to remember all of this sometimes, and you're going to use Tiramisu's effect to take the Messenger Lotto and the Mew back into your hand because you have the field card, and I'm going to choose the Diamond and the Zirconia or something like that to go back into the extra deck, and then my ticket will activate once that happens. My ticket will allow me to special summon out from my deck a Croissant, and Croissant will contribute to the overall strategy of it all. And over here, I can go for Battle Face, and I'm going to attack his Prismora with my Queen Tiramisu, which has 2,700 attack. And I'm going to, it's not an OTK, but my opponent basically wasted all of his hand, so I'm not too worried about that. And even when he draws into that Rescue Rabbit that he has, I have a Veiler in my hand, so finally I get Veiler. And I'm going to just go attack, keep on attacking. It's not OTK, but I'm in a really good position to win because I can use the Croissant's effect to bounce back my Madolche Hook Kick, and when that happens, I can use it a next turn. So he's going to have Rabbit, I'm going to play Veiler, and it's going to be GG from here. Alright guys, thanks for watching this match. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Gary, gzduels, signing out.